knock, open up the door.
It's Will!
You're gonna be flooded with content right now. Your minds are probably blown. Like if you're subscribed to me, you're going like, "Oh my God, Will, slow down! Like I need to watch the other 5 videos or whatever." But here we go. Will's Weekly Pool, Issue 2. If you don't know what that is, go to the first video. I'll give you just a brief, quick thing. It's just me talking about the comics I picked up this week and what you should read. I'll recommend if you should read what I'm grabbing, or maybe you guys can give me suggestions of what to read, because I'm a little bit behind on comics and I don't like jumping on to something if I can't follow the story from the beginning. So there's that. Without further ado, here we go. Kicked off with Superman Wonder Woman number 28. It's also part 4 of the Death of New 52 Superman. So it's part 4, and I believe I told you guys last time the cliffhanger was that, oh, Wonder Woman's a little bit pissed at Superman for not telling her that he's dying, and he kind of reveals like, hey, I know that was wrong of me, but I knew it was going to be the hardest to tell you because I love you, which was a little bit sweet, but we get more insight about that. And along with that, I will say this. I don't know if I commented too much on the art in the other issue, but this one, holy crap, it looks so good. Just that opening page, just Wonder Woman looks beautiful. Just every page. I'm not just trying to say like, oh, Wonder Woman's beautiful, oh, so hot, whatever, but every panel was great. I love that, if nothing else. But we get some more insight to the new crazy guy who thinks he's Superman, who's like an energy being. And we kind of find out that maybe some other people were around when Superman released his solar flare against Ulysses, which Ulysses is a character who showed up during the Men of Tomorrow arc. I believe that was the Jeff Johns, John Romita Jr. arc. It started like in the 30s, I believe. So if you don't know, if you want to see what that's all about, go back there. Superman and Wonder Woman go to Argus to interrogate this guy and figure out what's up. The crazy guy, thinks he's Superman. He's going like, "Oh, Diana, let me out of here! Like, tell Steve to let me out. It's me. I love you." He's just going nuts. And Superman's going to talk to Ulysses like, "Hey, like, when I use that solar flare, like, what happened?" And he's like, "Oh, not a big deal. You better hope I don't get out of here. I'm going to kill you." And I guess the new Superman was able to crack the power, or someone let the power loose in there. And Ulysses just goes up and just like goes ham and beats the crap out of Superman. And then one of the last panels is like, "Oh, hey, I would kill you, but you're already dying, so it would be no fun." So he goes back to his cell, which I gotta say that's kind of honorable for a villain, but at the same time, still kind of a dick move. Still interested in that new Superman, and based on what I've read about Rebirth, that new crazy Superman guy is going to be around in Action Comics and Superman when we come back into Rebirth. So I'm excited about that. Would I recommend you picking this up? Yes and no. I mean, if you've been reading Superman Wonder Woman, I imagine this continues the arc of what they were doing from issues 1 through 27. If you've been reading the Death of New 52 Superman, obviously pick this up. If you haven't been doing any of those, no. Like, this is not a good jumping on point. You will be a little bit lost, unless you've been following me, in which case just pick this up, and then you'll be like, "Oh, hey, like, thanks to Will, and now I can pick those back up easily." But yeah, those are my thoughts on if you should pick it up. Let's go with the next one. I picked up Batman number 51, and Scott Snyder and Capullo are still on it until they hit number 52. I apologize for any confusion or if I threw anyone off and said they were done after 50, but they are still going at this point. And this one I would totally recommend. It's like totally just like a one-off, one-shot story. A one-shot, a little comic book info for you if you're not really big into comics. A one-shot is just like a one-off story. You could pick it up. Sometimes they release comics that will just have a big, giant number 1 on it, similar to a number 1. When you pick up new books, it'll just say one-shot on it. Like, those are stories you can just pick up and like that's it. You won't need anything else. Maybe you will, or maybe it'll be a lead-in to another story. But that's what a one-shot is. This one is similar to a one-shot. It's called Gotham Is. We kind of get a little brief input and find out how Alfred gets his hand back. Because Alfred got his hand chopped off fighting the Joker in Endgame, for anyone who didn't read that. Spoilers. Yeah, there's going to be spoilers in these guys. So I think I put it in the description of the last one. So if you don't like spoilers, stay away from these videos, obviously. But Alfred gets a new like robotic bio hand. Like, it's pretty much almost like his old hand. So like, unless you haven't been reading, that's not the biggest deal. But he's got his hand back. We also see like Bruce like getting back in it. Apparently all of his scars have healed since in game, because whatever healed him and helped him kill the Joker, like erased his memory, made his muscles like in top physical form, and just healed him of all that stuff. And power goes out in Gotham, and Bruce is like trying to find out who did this, like what's going on, like what's the main thing. He goes to Arkham, where his rogues gallery is. No one's doing anything, like they're all in prison. He goes and tries to infiltrate the Court of Owls. Nothing, they're not doing anything. It's not them. And then he comes across a guy who actually writes articles for the paper, and the article he writes is called Gotham Is. And he actually talks to Batman for a second, going, "Hey, like I was a criminal before, like I was in one of those gangs, and you stopped me and put me on the right path, and now I write this article for the Gotham Gazette or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, blah, 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 whatever," because Batman's an asshole. He's like, "Whatever, like, just stay out of trouble." And he goes off and runs and tries to find out why the power went out. And it's just a really solid story. Like, because I don't know how much you guys know about comics, but they used to sometimes start out with narration, and I initially thought this Gotham Is thing was from, like, Bruce or Alfred's perspective, but it was actually this guy's that Bruce comes across, and it was just really cool to see another perspective of that. And just Batman throughout the night is just so ever vigilant. Like, he stays out until like the sun comes out, trying to figure out like what happened. And Alfred's like, "Hey, like, still not picking up anything. Probably come home now." And Batman's like, "No, I still gotta keep working." So just like seeing, there was a nice little one-off story. If I totally recommend picking it up, like I said earlier, if you're into Batman or you want just like a little bit more insight of what's going to happen right before the new DC Rebirth, perfect issue to pick up. Star Wars Poe Dameron #2. All right, this continues the story that I was reading last time, where Poe Dameron's with this culture who worships the Blue Egg or whatever, but the First Order has come in, and they know Poe Dameron's there because they put a tracker on his ship. And this new character, Agent Terex, I believe is how it's pronounced. If not, someone in the comments will be in here yelling at me, so go for it. Go ahead. I dare you. Agent Terex, he kind of reminds me of Agent Callus, but more of an asshole. He has a lot of info, and he has like slaves on his ship, and he kind of just a real dick for the First Order, but like he's good at his job, so I gotta admire that at least. He comes there and he goes to the villagers and he's like, "Hey, like, what the hell is this Blue Egg thing? And hey, I'm looking for Poe Dameron. You guys know where he's at?" And they're like, "Oh, we don't know who that is." He's like, "Oh, that's a shame." And then he tells his troops like, "Hey, like, we're gonna destroy this thing if you don't show us who Poe Dameron is, and we'll start killing people." And then Poe, being the hero he is, comes out. He's like, "Hey, like, no need for that. I surrender. Like, leave these people out of it." And even at that point, he's like, no, we're probably still gonna kill people." So very interesting story. I liked it. There's no little side story like there was in Poe Dameron #1. So that's good at least. And there's another part of it. Poe Dameron tells his crew right before he surrenders, like, "Hey, leverage." I guess that's a code word, like try to find him some leverage, try to get him a way out if they can. And I guess they just try to go find the First Order ships and where they've landed and whatnot. And they find him and they're like, "Oh, hey, Poe, like, we found him, we're gonna take him out." And then Poe's like, "Oh, hey, I got all the leverage now, like, we got you here." And Agent Tex guys just goes, "Hey, do you think that's really all I brought?" And like we see like on the last panels, giant like First Order Star Destroyer like above the planet with the whole fleet. So some shit's about to go down on this planet, and I can't wait to see more. I love this. Poe Dameron's one of my new favorite characters, and this is one of my new favorite books that I'm going to keep picking up. And I totally recommend you to pick up #1 and 2. I think you guys won't be completely lost if you pick up this, because similar to the Star Wars movies, it has like a little opening crawl on the first page to catch you up to like what's happening up to this point. So that's one thing I like about Marvel books. They'll give you some of those at the beginning of comic books. So pick this up. If you haven't picked up #1, pick up that as well. Poe Dameron, Star Wars, pick it up. Also, no surprise here, Squadron Supreme is being continued here. We're talking about 4 and 5. Well, all right, 4, 5, and 6. These two wrap up the first arc, and #6 kicks off a new one, so I'll talk about these two first. Alright, so 4 and 5. The Squadron Supreme makes it to Weird World, and all of them lose their powers, except Power Princess and Nighthawk. Power Princess, it turns out, is a traitor and made a deal a couple issues back. I knew there were some panels about that, I just didn't really bring it up. I didn't think it was going to be relevant at this point. Apparently it is! She betrays them and takes them, a lot of the ones that she takes prisoner, while one of them, I believe, explodes. Hyperion loses his powers, and Thunder and the others just kind of retreat. and just it was very Justice League-ish right here. Like everyone's like trying to figure out like why's my powers gone? Like what happened? What's going on here? I believe Dr. Spectrum, I believe is that her name. After she explodes, she reconstitutes herself and like gets to understand the world. Like finds out her crystal that gives her powers actually is more magical in nature, and she gets like supercharged here and is able to make a force field around Hyperion to give his powers back. They end up storming like this evil sorcerer who's taken over the land and attack him. There's also that stuff was a little bit odd, and I know Marvel has a bunch of weird, like broad history about this kind of stuff, but very cool. They end up stopping Power Princess and that whole evil organization and kind of doing their own thing, and they get a new Power Princess in Thundra, which, funny enough, this isn't my first introduction to her. I saw it in the Marvel Legends toy line that she's in there. I'm going, who the hell even is this character? And now I kind of know who she is. So now that I know who she is, I kind of want to put her up on my toy shelves. You guys want to see my toy shelves? Let me know in the comments. Give me a few likes. Maybe that will be a video where I just show you all my Marvel, DC, Star Wars toys. Maybe that will be a video. Keep an eye out for that. Off the new storyline. Through the Lens. Alright, Dr. Spectrum, I guess, used to have these nightmares or dreams about Black Bolt, who's one of the leader of the Inhumans. And some of them he would help her, save her, but others he kills her. And she's just trying to figure out like what's like the deal with this guy. And another side story going on here is Nighthawk is trying to keep up appearances and be like his alter ego on this world. And he's met with the other evil Nighthawk from the Marvel Universe. I don't know what much is going to come out of that, but the next issue shows them on the cover getting ready to fight, so that should be interesting. And Dr. Spectrum also goes on this mission to this space station or whatever, where a few aliens, inhuman characters are hiding, and she's trying to like find out like what the hell they're doing, and it's revealed that Black Bolt is like the main leader behind them and like sending them on this mission, and just kind of left on the cliffhanger there. I'm really curious about this. I will say this is a good jumping on point if you haven't read Squadron Supreme and you want to jump on like as soon as you can. This is the first one you should grab. If nothing else, I always recommend starting at issue 1. It drives me nuts when I can't start from issue 1. I think that's why I haven't recommended many Marvel books, because everything is on like issue 5 or 6 or 7. I'm like, I need to get issue 1 to know like what the hell is going on, because Marvel gets crazy fast. Alright, so those are the comics I picked up this week. I'm also going to be doing one for Free Comic Book Day, which, if you don't know, that happens. This video will probably be uploaded on Free Comic Book Day, so keep an eye out for it a couple days later. Free Comic Book Day, for those who don't know, is an event you can go to at any local comic book shop on Saturday. They have a few specially made Free Comic Book Day books, but Marvel has a Road to Civil War 2 thing coming out. DC has a Suicide Squad one, since that movie comes out in August. They try to either time into the movies that are coming out and just other things that are really cool. Like I think they have a Simpsons book. Doctor Who usually does one. Power Rangers had one a few years back. A lot of cool stuff. And I'm probably not even scratching the surface of this, but yeah, they have those out there. And if you were a big HeroClix fan, I know at least for a couple of years they were giving out a free HeroClix or a HeroClix set for the first however many people got there. That's another thing I liked getting. But yeah, that's Free Comic Book Day, so keep an eye out for that as well. Just remember, guys, when there's a will, there's a way. And support your local comic book shops. Do it. It's the right thing to do.